Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Fryda Cortes, and I'm a current senior here at the George Washington University, and I'm also a graduate of Westlake High School 2019 as a part of their magnet program. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to join you guys today at your seminar, at the meeting tonight, but I was asked to record this video just offering my take and advice on looking for scholarships, how I found them, application process, etc. So I first want to say it can be really overwhelming to apply for scholarships. And I'm a first generation low income college student, and I'm very proud of that fact. So within that, to me, it was just a little bit more difficult just because I didn't have a lot of resources available to me that would have helped me. I had to kind of navigate this on my own. Thankfully, I had a lot of amazing teachers in high school that helped me, but I still wasn't aware of a lot of programs. So from my personal experience, I would start looking at the big name scholarships your junior year. But that is not to say that if you're a current senior, it's too late. But first, I'm going to talk about big scholarships, and then I'm going to move on to smaller scholarships. And I will say that no scholarship is too small. They all come in extremely handy. But I'm going to talk about big name and then small name and kind of how to approach all of that. So I myself am a recipient of the Posse scholarship, which is a full tuition scholarship to my college, which is the George Washington University. For that, you have to be recommended, but if you have any questions or are interested in the program, I know Kayla or Aspen will be able to provide my email, and then we can chat about that further. But as far as big name scholarships, there are so many big name scholarships or big scholarships, and they're catered to a lot of different demographics. So I identify as Latinx. So there are a lot of Latinx scholarships, such as the Hispanic Scholarship Fund. And as I stated earlier, I'm also a first generation and low income college student, which means that I'm the first in my family to go to college, and I come from a low income background. And low income, as defined by the United States, is just any family that makes under $65,000. And so there are a lot of scholarships that are geared towards different demographics and identities. So for low income students, there's a big name scholarship called the Quest Bridge, and they offer a full ride to a lot of different schools that they partner with, such as Emory, Stanford, University of Pennsylvania, a lot of different schools. There are also big name scholarships such as Dell Scholars, Greenhouse Scholars. I can't name all of them off the top of my head, of course, but big name scholarships, I would start looking at those your junior year of high school, just because unfortunately the big name scholarships are pretty competitive. So they do like to see a student that is, I wouldn't say high achieving, but has significant involvement both in and out of school. And what that means is they just don't want a 4.0 student that doesn't have anything else. They would much rather prefer a 3.5 student or 3.0 student that is deeply involved in their community, whether that be through volunteer work or is deeply involved in their school with other organizations such as sports, volunteer, or just something that showcases that you're passionate about something other than academics. They also, they take into consideration your identity, of course. So if you are also a first generation college student and you're doing a lot of things, then that stands out than just someone that comes from a privileged background that solely focuses on academics. So a lot of it is also just learning about how to showcase yourself. As far as tips I have on finding big name scholarships, honestly, just a Google search. So what I did was you could search up scholarships for blank students in high school. So for me, I would say scholarships for first generation students in high school, or scholarships for blank student in high school. That's kind of what helped me. And I'm sure that there, there's also, I can see if I can forward a list of scholarships that I have to Kayla and Aspen so they can be distributed to you guys. But that's kind of like my advice for big name scholarships. Of course, like, try your best in school, try to have a strong academic record to the best of your ability, of course, but don't solely focus on academics. Definitely try and be involved outside of school, whether that be, volunteering or working, or just something that showcases that you're more than just a student. Nobody wants just a student, because then you can't offer anything. It shows that you have, that's a really bad way to put it, but they just want to see someone that is multidisciplinary, of course. They want to see someone that isn't just like in their books, but somebody that has other amazing qualities such as community involvement or leadership. Moving on to smaller scholarships, for me, I had the best luck finding the spring, the semester before I started college. So the spring. So for me, that was spring 2019. And by that is the small local scholarships are going to come in so handy. And these are available everywhere in your community. And so for that, and what that means is a lot of local sorority and fraternity chapters give out scholarships. A lot of local churches give out scholarships. I received a scholarship from my church. I received a scholarship from various sororities. I received a scholarship from the Braves. So I received a lot of smaller scholarships that helped me offset the cost of college. So even though I got a full tuition scholarship, it was still really expensive because I go to a private institution, a private PWI at that, and as a low-income student, it's just so incredibly expensive to attend college, especially like in DC, which is where my school is located. So a lot of those small scholarships, it doesn't matter how small they are, if you can get enough or if you get a few, that adds up. So I would say in small scholarships, I got around $20,000. And that has helped me tremendously throughout college. Just buying supplies to help me move into college, or things that would help pay for my housing, my dining plan. Just because those things are like, I would call them hidden expenses. And so, it can be daunting and overwhelming to Google. And it does take a lot of research. I will say it is very time consuming, but also don't be afraid to ask your teachers, ask your counselors, ask your parents if you're able to. So for me, even though my parents didn't attend college and they're not from this country, I would say, hey mom or hey dad, ask around if you guys know of any scholarships. And, they would tell me about a lot of scholarships geared towards Latinx students, and I would apply to them. I would also ask my teachers, hey, do you know of any scholarships that I can apply to? Or if you hear anything, let me know. Definitely do not be afraid to use the resources available to you. For me, my counselors in high school weren't very helpful, just because the school I attended, a lot of students had attended college and so they assumed that everybody knew how to do that process, which unfortunately just isn't true. So I had to rely a lot on my teachers to tell me about scholarships, or even my friends. I am very much the belief that it takes a village, and I want to see everybody succeed. We all eat or we don't eat is my motto. If I hear a scholarship that maybe isn't geared towards my identity, I let my friends know. Or if it's something that we can all benefit from, I let all my friends know. I let people I know. I send them opportunities, just because I just don't believe in being selfish. And so a really fun fact is I received a scholarship from a local AKA chapter, and a lot of my friends and I received that same scholarship for varying amounts. But it was really cool to see A lot of my friends or a lot of colleagues that I know, like, we all have received the same scholarship. Like, a friend from that went to a different high school as me, he also sent me a lot of scholarships that he found, and we ended up receiving 3 of the same scholarships. Like, you don't have to be selfish when it comes to scholarships, and I think that's like a very common misconception. So I encourage you to use your network of resources, your friends, teachers, family, friends. Like, definitely ask out, and they can ask for you as well. Information is just shared. We have so much information at our disposal. So that's kind of how I found scholarships, and I will definitely try and send a doc of scholarships that I know of so that it can be distributed to y'all. And as far as making an application stand out, as corny and cheesy as it sounds, I will say to be yourself, be authentic. Definitely sell your story. Come off confident, not cocky. So as I stated earlier, and as I'm going to say it again, to me, being a first generation low income college student is very, very important to me, just because there's such a small number of students that are first generation students. Statistically, like, I should have dropped out by now. Statistically, we have such a small number of first generation and Latinx students, Latinx women at that go to college.